my crystal ball predictions, my top 25 things that I think will or won't happen here in the season to come. And the last couple years, man, these have been pretty cash money. So let's see if we can keep it going.
Cash money?
Let us begin.
Your predictions are outlandish.
After never having a 2-loss team make the college football playoff during the 4-team era, we will have a 3-loss team make it in the very first year of the 12-team era. And I would not be surprised if that 3-loss team is our beloved Michigan Wolverines, given the kind of schedule that the Michigan Wolverines are facing this year. Number 2, no team in the FBS will be undefeated heading into the college football playoff. Too many teams.
I can't not comment. The first rule was 3-loss team in the 12. The only way that's happening is if one of the teams is a conference. Okay, so the only way a 3-loss is really going to happen is if one of the teams is a Power 4 conference winner. Like they'd have to, and I don't see that happening because they've given up divisions. But if that's your number one crystal ball prediction, whatever.
Including top teams play tough schedule.
It's not actually that crystal ball-ish when there's automatic qualifiers.
This is one of the tougher schedules that Georgia, for example, has played in recent memory, and my power ratings have them the unquestioned number 1 team. So with these mega conferences now and these unbalanced schedules, too many marquee matchups, I don't believe anybody will go undefeated in the FBS. Number 3, all 4 of the Power Conference championship games will be rematches from the regular season. Get used to this, too, with imbalanced schedules, no divisions, and I think you're going to see that in all of the Power Conference championship games as well. And next.
So you're saying Michigan is going to play who? Who did they play?
Segment, you'll see who I think will win every Power Conference championship as well as make the college football playoff. Number 4,
Michigan.
None of the teams moving to new conferences this year will win their conference titles in their first year in their new league. And yes, I'm including in that Oregon, who a lot of people like as a preseason top 5 team, and I like them quite a bit too, but I don't think any of the newbies will win their conference. Utah is the preseason favorite in the Big 12. I don't think they'll win there either. Number 5,
who
the
else
biggest
is in the
in-season debate no one is talking about right now is what will be the still largely unknown tiebreakers to determine who makes conference championship games in leagues with no divisions. I mean, I ran into this in my college football preview, not knowing the tiebreakers. What do you do? If I were running these leagues, here's what I would do. The ACC is the one power conference league that has revealed.
What can possibly be an unknown tiebreaker? First, it goes to, did they beat who they played? First of all, it's record, obviously, conference record. And then after that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of teams that you don't play in a big conference, but there's the law of large numbers comes into effect here, Steve. It would be very rare for there not to be a clear one, and then it's head-to-head matchups, and then it's scores. I mean, I don't understand how this is a crystal ball.
It's tiebreakers, and you'll see here in a minute. I had to use an awful lot of them to determine who got to the conference championship game. What I would do is, if head-to-head doesn't apply, meaning it doesn't apply, if there's 2 teams tied or multiple teams tied, then I would just have the college football playoff rankings determine who goes.
No, you can't do that.
I mean, the entire season now is about the college football playoff, and those rankings are supreme. And so if we're getting rid of divisions to have the best 2 teams to give our leagues the best chances of getting into the college football playoff and having multiple teams, then I would just let the college football playoff rankings be my tiebreaker then. That's what I would do if there's no head-to-head.
No.
All right, number 6, Ryan Day will leave Ohio State after the season to take over for the retiring Andy Reid as head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he will be replaced by Florida State coach Mike Norvell.
Do you know something no one else knows?
That will get some tongues wagging for sure.
Andy Reid,
number 7,
retiring this
Liberty's
year.
Jamie Chadwell will succeed Mike Norvell at Florida State. Both of them keen offensive mind.
I can't recover from that. I will come back and, I should do a review of last year's just to see how cash money was.
That's the kind of coach they tend to like there at FSU. Number 8,
Liberty, FSU.
Iowa State will win its first conference title since 1912. That's right, since the Titanic sunk. And this would end, therefore, the longest conference title drought of any power conference team. Yes, Vanderbilt has a conference championship more recently than Iowa State does. 9. After losing...
Who does Iowa State have? When have they been... They've been decent, but, I mean, in the Big 12, they've been competitive, but...
4 games in a season only once between 1969 and 2001. Nebraska will lose at least 4 games for the 21st consecutive season. I still can't believe that's a real stat, but it is.
Okay, agree with this one. This is about the closest one.
But Matt Rule will take Nebraska to its first bowl game since 2016. That's Barack Obama was still president then. Number 10. Mac Brown will retire as North Carolina football coach at season's end.
Out of his mind.
And he will be replaced by Texas State coach G.J. Kinney. Keep an eye on the Bobcats, by the way. I think they may be one of the dominant teams in the group of 5 this year.
I could see Mac
Number
Brown
11,
retiring, but...
Kirk Ferentz will retire as Iowa football coach after the season and be replaced by Kansas coach Lance Leipold, and that would be a dramatic culture change. I mean, they're both very similar as humans, but one guy thinks the first one to 40 wins, and the other guy would prefer if both teams don't score 40 in a game.
You mean by that?
Number 12.
Kirk Ferentz.
Deion Sanders will again fail to take Colorado to a bowl game. Too many swing games on the schedule. Yeah. I still think they're too light in the loafers there on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And I'm not sold on him yet as a tactician.
No one is sold on Deion Sanders, not even the players that were going to go there this year.
Level coach to be able to navigate a lot of these one-possession games that my numbers say Colorado's going to be in this year.
Coach Prime. Let Coach Prime do what Prime does.
Baylor will fire Coach Dave Aranda at the end of the season and replace him with UTSA coach Jeff Traylor in-state. That seems like a pretty obvious one. 14, which means it'll be...
First of all, I don't know why that's it. How does that make the top 25 crystal ball? No one cares about that.
14.
Team, honestly.
Rutgers will finish with its most regular season wins in a decade. That's how long it has been since Rutgers has won 7 games or more in a season, 2014.
But this is, as a Big Ten guy, this is saying like Rutgers is going to do better this year than they did last year. I mean, yeah, you can say it. I'm not sure why it's a crystal ball. Rutgers has struggled hardcore like Nebraska. Maybe not as bad. Well, yeah, they're not very good. They're really not. You got mediocre teams in the Big Ten that beat Rutgers all the time. So what changes? It would be nice for you to say what changes Rutgers is going to make.
They do that this year. 15.
Well, why?
This will be the most watched college football season in the sport's history. Too many big games. Now, too many big brands that are guaranteed to face each other. Now, that shine could wear off if people get turned off by the fact the product has departed too much from its traditions. But this year will not be that year.
Too confusing 16, to comment on.
Florida coach Billy Napier will shock many by guiding the Gators to a bowl game despite the nation's toughest schedule, thus saving his job.
Hold on. Florida coach Napier will shock many by guiding the Gators to a bowl game despite...
17.
Not important.
For the first time ever,
Florida sucks.
Wisconsin will fail to make the Big Ten championship game for a 5th consecutive season. In fact, I think the Badgers are going to have to fight, scratch, and claw to be bowl eligible, which is what you'll see a little bit later on. 18. The Heisman Trophy finalist will be, in alphabetical order, Carson Beck at Georgia, Donovan Edwards at Michigan.
This is my problem with people who have podcasts based around their favorite team. Donovan Edwards as a Heisman candidate? What are the Vegas odds right now on Donovan Edwards? I know Beck, Gabriel, and Milroe have odds.
Michigan, I think Dono is going to have a monster year. Dylan Gabriel at Oregon.
Well, you think that because you're a Michigan fan.
And Jalen Milroe.
That's why.
With that Kalen DeBoer offense at Alabama. Number 19, Carson Beck will become Georgia's first Heisman Trophy winner since Herschel Walker in 1982, more than 40 years ago. Number 20, the results of the top 5.
Oh, my gosh. Look at this mess. So right here at number 20, you've just like combined five crystal ball. So this is really the top
September
29.
non-conference games will be. I think Texas will beat Michigan early on. I think there's just too many wholesale changes on offense for the
And by the way, this is what you should have done. You should have done like this for your crystal
Wolverines to
ball.
overcome that early in the year. I think LSU will beat USC regardless of who you think will win that one, though. I'd be taking the over. I mean, these are two defensively challenged programs indoors on a fast track. I like Texas A&M in a mild upset over Notre Dame opening night. I think that Lone Star heat's just going to be too much
Iowa
there.
over Iowa State.
And Mike Elko, by the way, facing his former school where he was DC and his former quarterback as well, Riley Leonard.
But
I think he wins his Aggie debut.
If you have Iowa beating,
I like Florida to upset Miami in the heat of the swamp. How hot is that game going to be at 3:30 Eastern on August 31st? But I think the Gators pull off the upset in the opener as the home dog.
Have you seen Cam Ward? Who does Florida, dude? Who does Florida have that's remotely as good as Cam Ward?
That is going to be a super sultry swamp.
Nobody.
And I like Iowa over Iowa State. And similar to the USC LSU game, regardless of who you think wins this one, I'd be taking the under. These are both coaches who think punting is winning. Number 21.
Again, he thinks Iowa State's going to win the Big 12 but lose to Iowa Hawkeyes.
Arizona, Kansas, and Missouri will start the season in the AP Top 25, but none of the three will finish there. 22.
Oh, I got to go back to that. Hold on.
Taking the under. These are both coaches who think punting is winning. Number 21.
Okay. Arizona, Kansas, and Missouri start the season in the top. You're saying Missouri, Arizona, and Kansas are going to fall out of the top 25 by the end.
Arizona, Kansas, and Missouri will start the season in the AP Top 25, but none of the three will finish there. 22. Boise State, Iowa State, and NC State won't start the season in the AP Top 25, but will finish there.
Who cares
23.
about these schools?
The following first-year
here's another doozy.
Coaches will lead their teams to post-seasons in their first years. Major Applewhite at South Alabama, Trent Bray at Oregon State, Brent Brennan at Arizona, Fran Brown at Syracuse, Bob Chesney at James Madison, Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, Mike Elko at Texas A&M, Jed Fish at Washington, Sharon Moore, Michigan, Gerard Parker at Troy, and John Sumrall at Tulane.
Okay, so I agree with. I don't agree with South Alabama. Oregon State, they play. This year they play like the Mountain West schools. So who in the Mountain, whatever. Arizona, yeah, they'll go to a bowl game. Syracuse, because of the transfer from Ohio State to Syracuse, maybe. James Madison, that's a tough one because they were okay last year, but obviously horrible in a bowl game. Alabama, yeah. A&M, yeah. Washington, yeah. Michigan, yeah, they'll go to a bowl game. Troy, whatever. Who cares about Troy? I think it's. You mean Troy State Trojans? Is that who you mean? And then Tulane, which they've been decent lately, so okay.
24. Liquidate these teams that will win at least 2 fewer games than they did last season. Duke, Florida State, James Madison, Michigan, Missouri, New Mexico State, Northwestern. These are regular season games, by the way. Old Dominion, San Jose State, SMU, Toledo, Troy, Tulane, UCLA, and Washington. I think all of those teams win at least 2 or fewer games than they did a year ago in the regular season.
Win 2 or fewer games. Okay, so Michigan went 12-0 last year, so you're saying they're going to be at best 10-2, but have a Heisman candidate. Again, I'm judging you here because this is your crystal ball. You said it was cash money. And then you say Missouri. Okay, Missouri didn't change that much. Just their kicker, right? And then you have New Mexico State. Who cares? Northwestern. That's not even. Yeah, I guess they're relevant in the Big Ten, but because they beat a lot of teams. But you think they're going to have 6 wins? Okay. Old Dominion, ODU, San Jose State, SMU, Toledo, Troy, Tulane, UCLA, and Washington.
And then finally,
Okay.
25, invest, though, in these teams that I think will win at least 2 more games in the regular season than they did last year. That's Colorado State, Connecticut, East Carolina, Florida Atlantic, Indiana, Nebraska, TCU, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Western Michigan. So that's my crystal ball predictions for the upcoming season. We'll take a break. We'll come back. I'll walk you through my projections of how I think all the power conferences will finish.
I listen, Mr. Deace. I don't think that half of your predictions matter. It would take a while for me to. I just might last year take a look at the crystal ball and piece by piece and break it down. I appreciate that you do these things. I've watched you for a handful of years now because someone that I'm very dear to loves Michigan, and I don't understand it's like drinking the Kool-Aid. You have a team that you like and you root for, but then when Michigan fans and Ohio State fans, I can blame them too. Texas fan, all of the power conference big ones, even Florida people from Florida think the Gators are better than they are, and they're just not. It's the same way about Michigan. Although here's the thing, the last 2 years you can say all you want about Michigan because they did win the championship. I know that the 5% or less that are fans of Michigan in college football, I mean, Michigan has a lot of fans. They make up a lot of people who love college football like Michigan. But everyone else other than Michigan fans believe wholeheartedly that that national championship was no good. In other words, they believe that you cheated in a way that made it possible for you to win games that you weren't supposed to win. And other teams have been penalized in the past. I think we're going to find out that Michigan's going to get penalized. I don't like the fact that Michigan fans, I don't know anyone, not a single Michigan fan, that is like, yeah, we cheated, but we still won. They're all like, we didn't cheat. We didn't cheat. You did. And so, just because you didn't get penalized in the NCAA doesn't make you the same as the Houston Astros that cheated in baseball. Oh, we didn't cheat, and then they got caught, and they're like, yeah, we cheated. So when you get caught, eventually something will come out, and that's even more than we know. Um, I don't know. You're gonna have crow all over your face, but okay, we'll see if these come true. I mean, I think a few of them are maybe 3 or 4 are legit. Like, oh, that'd be kind of neat and good insight. But the rest of them are just like throwing mud against the wall and being like, I can see that Texas State's gonna score 10 points on Texas, and Texas is going to beat them 61-74. No one cares. Anyway,